And hello everybody, it is SpiffyNeedleGeeks, Brawl Fan 1, and Rashutsu Rises, here to talk about the newly announced Generation 8 Pokemon games, Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. I almost said Sun. But I saved it.
It's the S's. It's like, oh, yes.
Yes, so unfortunately, so myself, Brandon, as well as Brian and Jordan, our usual guests, we actually did record a reaction to the direct this morning. We actually were alive enough to be able to do so, but unfortunately, like, I don't know if a lot of you have heard, the Pokemon Company has asked YouTube to really get super strict on anybody who re-uploads the trailer in any capacity. So anyone who tries uploading tries re-uploading the trailer or tries to upload a reaction or anything, yeah, that shit just gets taken down. So
yeah, that bites.
That's fine. So we'll just give our general reactions like right now. Mine was pretty much a lot of yay, this looks cool, awesome, because I was way too fucking tired to actually react properly anyway. So.
Well, because they did the direct early in the morning, it would have aired at like 9 o'clock on my end, and that's when I start work. So yeah, it wasn't until like I took my first break. I just did like a quick glance on Twitter, and all I saw was, okay, here's the title, and here are the starters. It really wasn't until I came home was when I was actually able to watch, that 7-minute video proper.
Yeah. So I guess with that said, we'll get right into it. Our first impressions of what we've seen of the game so far. Right off the bat, of course, based on what they showed us the region of Galar, and it looks really good. It's like based on like a lot of rumors were true. It was in fact based off European UK roots.
Yeah, that seems like it's the most logical next step, honestly. It's like, yeah, because the past 3 games, we've been getting outside of Japanese influence. So it's like, we've technically had America twice.
Yeah. And
then we had France. So it's like, England probably would be the next logical step. Like I know one of our friends from back in the commentary days, Jen, she was really, really hoping for Spain, which would be kick-ass too, make no mistake. But it's like, maybe next time.
Yeah. So I actually do have the map of the Galar region right here. So I don't know how many of you have actually noticed this, but the region is shaped like a sword.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like if you look, like it's shaped like a sword pointed down. So like the very south end of it is obviously the tip, and like if you look at the very north end of the region, you see a tower which obviously looks like a hilt.
Oh yeah, it kind of does. When you think about it, yeah.
Yeah, so makes sense enough, but just based on what we're seeing, yeah, it's definitely very old-fashioned looking. Old-fashioned-y looking. Yeah. That's the word I'm looking for.
Well, it looks like, we're probably going to be starting at the very bottom because that's going to be like, your typical starting village.
Yeah.
And it looks like, the farther north we travel, the more industrial it becomes.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. The only my initial worry was that it looked like initially that it was going to be way too linear, just because it's literally a straight line going up. But when you
Foolish Tunes literally just said that. It's like the region seems a bit too linear, and that's where he's a little cautious.
Yeah. Well, it's like when you really look at it, though, it does look like the land is at least wide enough to the point where it looks like, I don't know about it being branching, but it looks like you won't be going straight up. It looks like you will be doing a lot of zigzagging.
Okay.
Like looking at the very bottom there, like we see. We see a couple of towns. Looks like they're separated by rivers. I'm not sure if it's one town or if it's 2 towns. I can't quite tell. You go through a cave. Looks like there's I'm noticing a lot of train stations too, which is pretty neat. Looks like in the very middle of the region, we got what looks like London City, because we got the tower that has the Big Ben bell in it. What's that tower actually called? Because the Big Ben is the name of the bell, not the tower.
Fuck if I know.
Yeah, well.
It's like again, this is our our boorish American ignorance here. That's where it's like, it's like, God damn it, Brits, why must you be in a different time zone? So it's like, I would love, because I mean, we know several people that live in England, and I'd love to have their insight, but they're probably asleep by now.
Yeah. Oh well.
So it's like goddamn time zones.
Know what we can do about that, but yeah. So, unfortunately, I really can't show the actual trailer itself. Like I said, like this video will get taken down if I do. But just based on what we've seen, yeah, the scenery looks gorgeous. We got like a lot of different grassy landscapes. That like we saw like a jewel filled mine. It looked like there was a couple of those. What are those called? Like the references to the chalk drawing, like the giant chalk drawings, whatever those are called.
Yeah, I know there is a name for that. I don't remember what it's called exactly.
Yeah. But like it looks like there's definitely going to be a lot to do in this region, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. I know, like I noticed, like it looks like at one point we're going to be playing soccer, or I guess in this case football, like to be more appropriate for it. But
Oh, like that last bit at the end, you know, where you see like, was it the boy trainer? He's in like a uniform or something.
Yeah, going into so
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll be able if we'll be playing some kind of sport or what's going to be going on with that, but we'll see.
From what I'm seeing, I'm actually seeing it's going to be one of two things. Like some people are probably thinking, yeah, this is probably going to be like a side game or something. Like this is what's going to replace the contests that, you know, no one truly gave a fuck about in the previous games. It's like, it's either that or that might be the gyms.
That'd be something. Like that could be a gym, maybe.
You know, like I know, like do you follow do you follow Loxton or Noggin?
Yeah. I know. He posted a video earlier. I haven't seen it yet though, so.
Yeah, I watched it, and he actually came up with a pretty cool idea that I would love for it to actually come true, because it sounds like such an awesome idea, but at the same time I'm really not anticipating it. But you know, he's proposing, you know, what if those are the gyms, and you know, the way we're going to handle the gym battles is it plays out maybe more like a tournament, because you know, you always have to fight the lesser trainers before you actually go up to the gym leader. And considering how the starters seem to be following the athletic theme, what if they were playing off of that? And what if they played on a gimmick where it's like, because you're in a stadium and there's a crowd, what if they tried to pull in some of the contest ideas? Like, what if the moves that you use, the more flashy moves, it can actually, you know, get the audience cheering, and it gives the Pokemon a morale boost, and maybe they do some more damage. So you kind of got to play that kind of a game while you're doing the gym battle. I think that would be such a great idea, but I'm willing to bet that that's not what's going to happen.
Probably not. Yeah, probably not. But I guess more than likely it's just a side thing. Because I know, like in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, they had like the what was it, the Pokeathlon, which was a sports theme thing, where your Pokemon would like participate in Olympic style sports. So more than likely, it's just like a side thing that's going to be exclusive to this game, because you know, Europe and football and all that stuff. So that's probably what it is. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess you know, since I kind of brought up the whole like athletic theme with the starters and stuff, I guess like at this point, do we just kind of want to gush about the starters right now? Because that's really what everybody's gushing about right now.
Yeah, let's get this. We'll go ahead and get the starters out of the way. So of course, first off that was shown was Score Bunny. Score Bunny, obviously, you know, still going with the Zodiac theme. We got the rabbit now, and it looks like this dude leaves fiery footsteps, which is cool. We got Sobble, the little chameleon dude that can turn invisible in water, and then the
Sobble Squad for life.
And then the monkey Pokemon, despite the freaking fact that the company is calling him a chimp, he's not a chimp.
Oh,
he's a
well,
monkey.
you fuck off with that.
His name is Grookey. So yeah, first impressions on starters. I think they all look really cool. I'm currently torn between choosing Grookey or Sobble. I'll probably make a final decision on who I actually want when I see their evolutions, but for now, I don't know. It's always between the water and grass starters for me. I don't know why.
I just know for me, I am always I learned my lesson a while ago. Never ever question the water line, because I was like, no, because I made that mistake. That like the one time, like I decided, you know what, I'm gonna try a different starter, and that was when I decided to go with the Snivy first time around instead of the Oshawott. And it was like, by the time you got when the Snivy got fully evolved, beautiful Pokemon as it was just okay. And then with the sequel, I went and got Oshawott, got him all the way up to Samurott, and it's like, holy fuck, Samurott is amazing. So it's like, I learned my lesson. So it's like, well, never mind the fact that also Sobble is all kinds of adorable. And I love the idea of a little water Pokemon that can actually turn invisible in the water. So it's like, I love that idea, but it's just like, just watch. This timid little lizard is going to be like the most bamf motherfucker out of all of them.
Yeah, like what are predictions on in terms of what they're going to evolve into? I know everyone's already scared of the idea of Scorbunny becoming a fighting type. Which, I mean, I feel like they'd be redundant. We already have Lopunny, who mega evolves into a fighting type, so I don't think we need 2 fighting type rabbits. But I don't know. Like, my thing with Scorbunny, like I'm looking at its design. Like, I see a lot of people using like going with the idea that, oh, Scorbunny confirmed fighting type because of that random square on his above his nose, which looks like a band-aid, which you would normally see on like boxers and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's just athletic tape in general. But
I don't think it's what that is. Because if you look at the bottom of Scorbunny's feet, it's also there too. And we saw before that Scorbunny, whenever it runs, it creates like a fiery trail of footprints. So I'm wondering if those patches are what allow it to use fire attacks. So maybe it's not just his feet, maybe it's also his face.
Well, it's also, this goes into the whole theory of how each of the starters represents some kind of a sport, particularly a British sport. Like, Scorbunny is what we call soccer, but what they call football, which would make sense that it's like, okay, if those squares are supposed to be like athletic tape, it would make sense for the athletic tape to be on its feet and its head because, well, what do you use when you play soccer? Your feet, and you sometimes hit with your head. So it's like, I can go, that makes sense. I think for Grookey, I think they were saying that's supposed to be like a polo or something.
Yeah, because that little stick that you see in like its hair, it looks like it could take that out. Because we saw in the trailer, like we didn't really get a good glimpse of it because of the close-up, but it looked like it uses that maybe as some kind of weapon or something. But it also looked like it uses, like, it's hard to really say. It looks like it can use that to grow grass or have plants grow. It's kind of hard to say for sure.
Right, but at least, like, it looks like that stick, it can be used for, like a bat. So that's what people are thinking that one comes from. And then that leaves Sobble, where it's like, probably because it's a water type, people are thinking, water polo or maybe swimming or something. Like, I don't know, some kind of a water sport. Admittedly, it's a little hard with the Sobble, just because it's like, it's a water chameleon, and it doesn't really look like it really fits with that theme, but, there is water polo in Britain, and that is a sport there. So it's like, that for all we know, that might be what it references. Hell, we might see it be referenced in its later evolutions. Like, again, this is all theories.
Yeah, probably, because I know with the past 2 generations, all the starters had some kind of reference to something, and we saw glimpses of it in their first forms, but it was really pronounced when they reached their final evolutions. Like for Kalos, we had Chestnut, we had Chestnut the Paladin, Brexit, Delphox the Magician or the Witch, and then Greninja the Ninja. And then for Gen 7, we had Decidueye the Archer, Incineroar the Wrestler, and then Primarina the Diva. So that's that kind of started really, I think I would say in Gen 5 actually, because we had a Superior who was like a queen, Embor who was like a I forget what Embor was supposed to be, but I know Samurott was obviously a samurai. So like,
yeah,
the starters nowadays definitely have some kind of role to play. So yeah, the sports idea definitely does seem like a good way to go, especially since I know, yeah, like the UK, like the UK in that area are very sports heavy. Like they love their sports.
Yeah. Yeah, so to me that theme makes a lot of sense. And it's like I know people like that. I've seen like people they've already started making like fan arts or like speculating like what their final evolutions are going to look into or what they're going to look like. And it's like it's like don't get me wrong, I've seen some cool shit, but it's like we still got a long ways to go before we actually see. But I will say though, at least for these starters, because even like with some of the past ones, it'd be like, oh, I really like this one, but the other two are kind of meh looking. And it's like, or it's like, oh, I like these two, but this one looks a little on the meh side. I think this is like the first one in like a little while anyway, where I can say that it's like, yes, I'm definitely going with the Sobble, but I do like the designs for Scorbunny and Grookey. Like all three of them look really good.
Yeah. Like I can confidently say that I do like how all of them look.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't like, what was it, the last one where it was like, it's like, yeah, everybody was loving the fire kitty and the little owl, and, everybody was, bagging on the little water clown seal.
Hate them all. Poplio forever. Anyway.
Damn right, Poplio forever. We became a fucking mermaid.
Yeah, so, I'm also thinking about the personalities that was designated to them, because, like, Scorbunny is seen as very energetic, Sobble is seen as very timid, and Grookey is seen as very mischievous. So I'm wondering how that's going to play into possible sports roles. Or how that would play into like how they are in general, because like Sobble being timid makes sense for it, because it can turn invisible. So the idea of it turning invisible because it's easily frightened, that makes sense. And then we got a rabbit who, probably likes to run around and hop everywhere, so it being energetic makes sense. And then we got Curious George over here, who's described as mischievous. Monkeys are generally seen as mischievous, so okay, once again, that does make sense.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, I will be back in a couple of minutes.
Guess I've been left all alone then. So I guess while Danny does that real quick. So chat, like, just in general, what are your overall thoughts on the starters then? I see Dark Ray Quasar 47. I'm Sopple Gang. I'm partial Sopple Gang right now. Like I said, for me, it's between Sopple and Grookey. I need to see their evolutions first before I decide really which one I want. Yeah, Foolish Tunes. There will always be flame wars on the best starter. For some generations, it was easier than others, but this one it definitely seems to be more split. I don't know what's worse, one being bullied or one debating on which is best. Yeah. So Malik probably you like all the starters. Newbie you like Scorbunny. Yeah. Minzy Kim you like Scorbunny. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot. Like I think actually I really am seeing a lot of love for Scorbunny, which what else is new? The fire type is always the most loved, but it's like I can't think of a single gener. Well, I mean, Gen 5 Tepig wasn't really that well received at first initially. I know, but generally the fire starter always is like off the bat like the most loved one. But I think in terms of like what I've been seeing for the fan art today, I've been seeing a lot of it for Scorbunny, and then of course people just loving and wanting to protect Sobble. And then I've been seeing some stuff for Grookey, but not as much as Scorbunny or Sobble. So I think probably Grookey, because of that, is probably the least received so far. But I guess we'll have to wait and see on that. Let's see, I'm partial for Sobble, leaning towards Sobble because he Chameleon Boy. I'm torn with the starters are also cute, but I also probably yeah. See, a lot of you are liking Sobble. Let's see. I can see Scorbunny becoming either fairy or electric. Like I said, there's no way we're gonna be able to tell with its current design. Like, I'm sure more than likely they will be getting secondary types. That's for certain. But whether or not they, it's so hard to say. Like their designs for the most part are pretty broad, so we don't quite know. Like I would like to see at the very least us getting types that are in fact separate. But I know what they generally do is that they I know for the past, at least for Gen 6 and 7, they made it so that the secondary types also were counter to each other. So like between Chestnut, Delphox, and Greninja, like Chestnut was fighting, which is weak to Psychic, which is weak to Psychic. Delphox was Psychic, but that's weak to Dark, which is what Greninja was, who was weak to fighting. And then I know when it came to was that the same? I know, you know what? Never mind. I don't think that was actually the same in Sun and Moon, because Ghost, Dark, Fairy. Like Fairy's good against Dark, Dark's good against Ghost, but Ghost actually doesn't do anything to Fairy, so never mind. Yeah, that was only Gen 6. We talk about the music. We'll talk about the music in a little bit, like once after we finish talking about the starters when Danny gets back. I don't mind them, but knowing people did not like the two-legged full evolutions. Oh yeah, like You know what? Actually, kind of interesting to think about. Score Bunny, because let me think on that. Litten was four-legged. Fennekin was four-legged. Tepig was four-legged. I think, yeah, Score Bunny was the first fire type we've gotten in a while that's a two-legged mon. Like, Chimchar was two-legged. Torchic was two-legged. Cyndaquil, I guess technically two-legged. Which one is Ash gonna get? Probably Grookey, because Ash always generally ends up with the grass type. Most of the time. What did he have? In Alola he had Rowlet and Litten. Kalos he had Froakie. Clement got Chespin. Guess we'll see. You back, Danny?
Okay. Yeah, I am back. Okay, so what is this that we're talking about with Chespin?
I was just answering random questions for the time being.
Oh, okay.
Kind of just thinking back on like the patterns of everything with the previous starters and how they may affect the current starters or these new starters.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Danny's favorite is Sobble. She loves Sobble.
Yeah, Sobble Squad for life. Well, just water starters for life, period. But it was like, fuck yeah, Sobble Squad.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it was like I said, I do enjoy the designs for all three, but I mean, I'm a water starter girl. It's like, I strayed once and I regretted it. So it's like, I will not stray from the water starter path again.
All right. Well, I guess we'll talk more about the starters if we can think of anything else for them. What I kind of want to bring attention to now is actually the game versions themselves. The game's being called Sword and Shield, which obviously is going to be a play on the idea of Old English knights. And
yeah, it's like, offense, defense, sword and shield. And then it's like, and then something with wolves. Because we've got like literally the exact same wolf image in both logos. So that's where it's like, wolves have got to play something in there. Like maybe that's going to be like the legendary or something.
Yeah, like I'm thinking, because since the name of the versions always had something to do with, at least since Diamond and Pearl anyway, generally the name of the versions had something to do with the legendaries. So can we expect to see maybe these legendaries to have knight-like qualities, but one that prefers offense and the other prefers defense?
Maybe. I honestly do not know.
I will also say, if if Hawn Edge and Shieldon are not version exclusives in this game, I'm gonna call shenanigans.
Yep.
And the two of them better also just be in this game in general.
Yeah, and Minseo Kim, I know I've seen that joke too, and it makes me laugh. It's like Pokemon Sword, Pokemon Shield. The third game comes out, Pokemon Gun.
No, you see that doesn't work because this is, no. I'm sorry, that doesn't work. This is an England version. Not we already have we missed the American version.
But wait a minute, they use guns.
No,
It's like
not really. Not like the gun laws are a bit more strict there.
it's like, now they are. That doesn't mean shit. I mean, for fuck's sake, the American Revolution. What did they use against us? Fucking guns. So it's like
I'd prefer
guns and cannons, man. So it's like, yeah, swords and shields, knights are awesome, but it's like, I know it's all a joke and everything, but it's like, you cannot make that argument that Britain doesn't use guns. Like, of course they fucking do.
It's interesting to think about though, because obviously the sword is the offensive weapon, but shields are never really used for offense. They're only used for defense. So what's the balance of that? Like what can be used for both offense and defense? And no, guns are purely offense.
I don't know. It's like Noggin, I think in his video he mentioned something like, because he does think this is going to be a balanced thing too. Like that, it's not so much a literal sword and a literal shield, so much as like, it is like it is going to be a game about balance. It's like, yeah, obviously you have like, ultimate defense, unstoppable offense, all that other, playing around with those ideas. He's predicting, and it's like, I guess I can see where he's going with this, where it's like, perhaps this is going to be more so a game about like, like, maybe not so much nature versus technology, but maybe like, nature versus humanity. Like you have the shield, which would probably be just more like, just the natural world itself. But then you have the sword that represents humanity. And he's saying, well, what if the legendary played off of where it's like, okay, yes, we've had man-made Pokemon before, but not as a box legendary, like one that's actually promoted on the freaking box. But it's like, again, it's a little bit of a stretch, I think. But I just figured I'd throw that out there because it's like, that's at least what he's predicting.
My idea
so
is... No, sorry.
I was just going to say, like, it's not going to be like a literal thing. Like, Sun and Moon, it was pretty literal in the long run. I mean, it's like, yeah, the Pokemon represented the sun and the moon. That's pretty goddamn literal. Whereas, like, like Sword and Shield is probably going to be a little bit something closer to maybe like Black and White, where it's probably got a little bit more of like a metaphor meaning rather than a literal one.
Even though it was still kind of literal, but either way, my whole thing is that I'm more focused on the wolf symbols that are above the two that are above the sword and the shield. Like I'm wondering if that's like. My idea is that I'm wondering if these wolf symbols like do indicate the legendaries. So maybe both legendaries are some kind of wolf, and maybe if
right.
Or maybe these wolf symbols could be like maybe since this is an English based region, there's probably going to be some kind of sovereignty, and these wolves may be like the royal crest or something like that.
Something.
So something I've actually been seeing going around, which I think, based on how these are set up, and this kind of goes back into the idea of balance as well. There's a symbol that's appeared on a couple of things. I wish I had it immediately on me, but it's I know in like I think it's on the Japanese logo. I think is what it is. You know how
I know what you're talking about. That little swirly symbol.
Yeah, people are assuming that because in the past, on the Japanese symbols of the game, and the Japanese logos in the game, like Kalos, the Japanese symbol there had the symbol for Mega Evolution, whereas in Sun and Moon, they had the symbols for the Z moves. So people are assuming that this symbol could have something to do with whatever this game's biggest gimmick is going to be, and people are thinking. I know this may sound like a stretch. I don't think it's this personally, but just based on what it's going on right now, I can see how it makes sense. People are assuming that maybe this can be a type of Pokemon fusion. Like maybe we have two different like wolf-like legendaries, one that prefers offense, the other that prefers defense, but then they can fuse together and become the best of both worlds. And I know something else that I saw someone brought up, I don't know who, regarding the like the chalk outline in like, you know, in the field that showed like a giant figure.
Yeah.
People are speculating that figure could very well be the dragon that used to be Reshiram and Zekrom, who are another two Pokemon that are confuse. Because just based on the symbol of what it looks like, it's breathing fire that's also emitting electricity, and its shape just looks like the general shape of what Reshiram and Zekrom have.
Okay.
So
do you think like assuming that they go with this fusion idea, would you anticipate that they would go so far as to make like, oh, every Pokemon can fuse with every kind, or would it only be like only like a select number could actually fuse? Kind of like, you know, how only like, you know, yeah, you know, we have like, you know, the Z moves, but there's only like a select few that are exclusive to certain Pokemon.
I see one of two things happening. Like, for one thing, I do not see every single Pokemon being able to fuse with each other to create something new. That would like there's way too many Pokemon, and that would create way too many options. There's no way in hell they're doing that. Yes, every Pokemon can fuse with each other, but instead of the outcome creating something completely new, what if it's like a primary and secondary type thing where you could fuse two Pokemon together, but one's a primary and one's a secondary? It'd be a temporary fusion for battles where you choose your primary Pokemon and then you fuse a secondary Pokemon to it, and it would still, and when the fusion's complete, it would still remain as whatever the primary Pokemon was, but then it gains like stat boosts or an ability or a move from the secondary Pokemon. And then like it turns and then they revert back to normal but at the end of the fight. Maybe something like that. And then maybe
I think that would be
sorry?
Yeah, I think that would be like the only way that you could possibly do something where it's like if that's the direction that they go with fusion, then it's like, okay, then yes, you technically could fuse any Pokemon together if it's literally just stat boosts and not so much as like you're literally fusing them together. You get a completely new appearance and maybe an exclusive move.
Like, I can see certain Pokemon fusing, like being able to fuse together and then to create something completely new as maybe like a makeshift Mega Evolution. Like, if we were to look at certain Pokemon, like let's say for example, Solrock and Lunatone, those two Pokemon are clearly, you know, supposed to be counterparts to each other. I can see those two fusing to make something new. You know, like Plusle and Minun could maybe fuse, something like that. Like those are just some things going on. Yeah, Reshiram and Zekrom could be confused to probably create the original dragon. Like something along those lines, where like it could be like a thing where if you do choose to fuse two Pokemon together, like you have to give up one of those Pokemon for the remainder of the battle. So you effectively reduce your team down to at most 5 if you do that.
Okay.
A fusion between Garchomp and Flagon. You keep Garchomp away from my Flagon. It doesn't need any bad influences, all right? Anyway, but yeah, like I can, if this fusion concept is what it's gonna be, I can very well see them doing something like that. Like I said, it's if that's what it is, though.
Yeah, that just seems to be like the common thing that I'm seeing a lot of people predicting, that it's going to be fusion. I haven't really seen a whole lot of other ideas getting thrown around for what that symbol could actually mean.
And what's actually interesting as well, I know Artsy Omni brought up a critique about how the 3 starters, in terms of shape, all look the same. Like, they all have round heads, and they all have some kind of appendix sticking out of their head, with specifically with 2 bumps. So, like, Scorbunny has his 2 ears. You know, Grookey has the 2 leaves, and Soppel has this fin that segments into 2 parts. So what if maybe, like, he made that as a critique, but what if that was also maybe an intentional design to imply that maybe the starters could also fuse? Because it would make sense if the starters of the game, like, if they added a fusion type of gimmick, that the starters themselves would be able to fuse in their final evolutions.
It does sound pretty interesting.
Like, I mean, they are pretty much built the same way. Like, if you look at them, they're all, they all have, they're all for the most part, they all have the two appendages. They all have, two arms, two legs. They all have a tail. And for the most part, they all kind of are bipedal. Like, yeah, we do see Sopple for the most part walk on 4 legs, but we also see it standing on its hind legs too. Meaning it's not fully a quadruped.
Right.
So that's what makes me wonder if maybe like they could combine, and if they are in fact sports themed, like we can see like combinations of the different sports that they're basing off of.
I don't know.
I guess that is something we will have to wait and see for. I would personally just prefer to see more.
I will say though, I know I retweeted this on Twitter because I just got a kick out of it. I love like the comparison that somebody pointed out that the 3 starters are the Powerpuff Girls.
I saw that too. Actually, you're right. Yeah.
Oh my god, this was so fucking funny. It was like, Score Bunny's ears are Blossom's ribbon. The little ears on the side of the Grookey, that's Buttercup's hair, and then like the little dipping design in Sopple's head, that's Bubbles' hair. It's like that just made me laugh so hard. That's why it's like, give that guy a fucking medal for actually going, oh my god, check this out. Like, give that guy a fucking medal.
Oh gosh. All right. So, I guess with all this said, based on, the vague information that we were given, is there anything in particular that you're hoping can come from this? Like, can come specifically from Sword and Shield? Like, something that maybe was never done before in the Pokemon series that you want to see done? Or something that you'd like maybe that you'd like for them to bring back that was used in an old game that you'd like for them to redo? Or try, maybe making a, new light?
Well, I know I'm seeing a lot of people, like, right away, probably, like, if anything, the one criticism that I have seen people make about the trailer is that I guess apparently you don't see the Pokemon out in the wild like you did in the Let's Go games. Because people really like that. So to see them gone and now it's, like, completely randomized again, people are like, oh, really? You took that away? I mean, it's a minor thing. And, I mean, that's not a deal breaker, at least for me anyway, it isn't. But that seems to be the one criticism that I am seeing kind of across the board is people really liked the idea of actually seeing the wild Pokemon. So you can actually make that choice, oh, there's a Pokemon I don't have. I want to go after it. Or I'm trying to EV train or whatever. So I'm looking for specific Pokemon. And it's like, I know people, I saw people really liked that idea. So now that it's gone, people are just like, oh, really?
One thing I'm actually kind of curious about myself. I know Masuda said that he made a statement that Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee were not just spin-offs. They were to be treated as mainline games. And he also said that, not only were they to be treated like mainline games, elements from those games were going to be used like in future installments. But I'm not really seeing anything so far that was exclusive to Let's Go in these trailers yet. I figured if anything he'd be talking about the Pokemon being seen in the overworld or being able to catch Pokemon using using the gyroscope like in Pokemon Go, but we really doesn't look like we're seeing this stuff like that, any of that stuff. So I'm kind of wondering what he meant by that.
Actually, do you think I know the Let's Go game, it came with that little Pokeball. I know, at least from what I was seeing, Let's Go, it was more so about just the capturing the Pokemon, not so much the battling. But do you think, do you think they'll try to maybe somehow implement that peripheral into it? Like maybe you're doing the battling, but when it comes time to capture, you can use that Let's Go Pokeball?
Maybe. I don't actually know. It's hard to say for sure, only because the trailer does actually show us, being able to battle wild Pokemon like we used to. And it doesn't look like it showed anything specifically that would show that feature. So it's hard to say. They could just be hiding, They could just be hiding stuff for now. I'm not quite sure. Like I'm taking kind of what I'm seeing right now with a grain of salt, because I know there are certain things that were missing from the trailer that I was kind of disappointed to see. Like, for example, the lack of Pokemon following you. Why wasn't that shown immediately? Unless they're just hiding it for now.
Hmm.
I know that's such a minute thing, but it's so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know for me, I do hope that they continue with the trainer customization, because I adored that feature. Like when it was first introduced, I loved that they had such a wide variety of clothes, hairstyles, hair colors. It was like you could never run into like the exact same Pokemon trainer twice, or if you did, it'd be very rare. And admittedly, I thought that was a disappointment in Sun and Moon, that they really watered it down. And I mean, I do hope that if they do bring the customization back, it'll be closer to how it was before. We have a lot more wider variety of options instead of limited variety. And if you truly want, like, you know, oh, okay, you can get this shirt, but you want it in a different color, then you got to go fuck around in the plaza that no one really gives a shit about. So it's like, I do hope that, you know, we get more variety and it'll make it readily available. But that being said, if I can say, like, even if for whatever reason we don't get the trainer customization, I probably will be like, okay, that's fine, because I absolutely love how these new trainers are designed.
The female reminds me so much of Ochaka Uraraka from My Hero, and it's like it's freaking me out.
The female trainer is so adorable. It's like I love her, but it's like even the male trainers got a good design behind them. So that's where it's like, because even like again, I think this is partially because you had the customization options. You know, that not for nothing, the trainers, like the initial designs, you know, were kind of bland. But I think, you know, well, of course they're going to be bland, because chances are you're not going to be sticking with that look. You know, you're going to be customizing it. So it's like, you know, while yes, that's a possibility, we'll be seeing that here. But if the customization is truly gone, then you know what? I'm perfectly okay with these designs.
Also, Jacob Kamarov actually brought up exactly what I was just thinking. Why does the male have a briefcase for a backpack? Like this giant, like, heavy-ass box-looking thing. Like, how is he lugging that shit around? Like, is that just a thing that happened? Like, am I just being, you know, an ignorant American again, and is that just what people wear as backpacks in England, or am I just missing something here?
No, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Again, that could very well be a cultural thing.
Right. Also, speaking of cultural, segue, Malik Perry did bring up earlier more regional variants. Yes, I would love to see, like, you know, some Galar some Galar variants of Pokemon. Like, that would definitely be something I want to see, and not just Gen 1, please. Can we get other generations to have regional variants?
Like I've seen some people mentioning they want to give Pokemon like accessories that actually like appear on the Pokemon.
Yeah, because that was a thing that you can do in Pokemon Let's Go. You know, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, specifically for specifically for Pikachu and Eevee, like only for that.
Yeah, couldn't you style like little tufts of hair on their head or something?
Yeah, you can change their hairstyles. You can give them shirts. You can give them hats and all that stuff. So
so people are probably like, you know, hey, can we get that on like more Pokemon?
Yeah, like I don't see you being able to do that for every Pokemon, and if you could, it'd be very limited. Well, okay, I say that, but then I think about games like Digimon Cyber Sleuth, like the second game in that game. You could dress up your Digimon in that game, and every single one could be dressed up. So now I'm just thinking like, okay, we're on the Switch now, stronger hardware.
Well, I mean, there's probably going to be, I can imagine, like, some accessories, like, anything on their head. Like, you want to put, like, a hat or a ribbon on their head. Like, you could probably put that on any Pokemon. But, you know, when it comes to, like, oh, I want to give this Pokemon a shirt, then it's going to be like, okay, you know, a shirt that you put on a Pikachu is not going to be the same kind of thing you're going to put on a Rapidash, you know?
It'd be funny if it was, though.
It would be funny, but, you know, I mean, realistically speaking, it's just like, you know, that's probably not going to happen. Or it's like, you know, what you put on like a coffin or something.
Just hanging on, hang a shirt dangling off a coffin with a coat hanger or something.
It's like, or that little keychain fucking thing.
Klefki, yeah.
Klefki. Yeah, it's like, yeah, put a t-shirt on Klefki. Yeah, I'd like to see how that works.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind at the very least being given the option to, yeah, like put like a little hat or a bow or something on like being able to put something like that on every single Pokemon's head that you can actually see in the overworld or in battle and stuff like that. And then yeah, for more popular Pokemon like Pikachu, Eevee, the starters, things like that, you could dress them up a little bit more freely. So
right,
like I'd like to see that.
Okay.
Dress up, like okay, no. If they're gonna let you dress up your Mimikyu's design, they better just let you fully customize the Mimikyu, because Mimikyu is covered by a rag. That you know, you can literally make a fabric anything. Of course, that'd probably be a bad idea, because then all we'd be getting are Mimikyu covered in dicks, and I don't think we need that.
Yeah.
How about a Galarian, B-Sharp, and Poniard? Okay, you're gonna have to explain to me what Galarian is, because again, I'm an ignorant American.
I think he's talking about, you know, the
regional variants, yeah, but like I don't know what a Galarian is. Like I is that some kind of, because I know like yeah, Poniard and B-Sharp are supposed to be like yeah, like they're oh Galar, okay, he's talking about the okay, regional,
yeah, the regional
Galar, okay. A Galarian. Okay, I was thrown off by that, but whatever.
Okay, and then it's like, do you expect like Z moves and more Mega Evolutions?
I expect them to come back. Whether or not we get new ones is up for debate. Like maybe for Z moves, I can see a few more showing up, because Z moves, you know, can be given to any single Pokemon, and giving a few more exclusive ones to newer ones, or even a couple of older ones that didn't have one. Sure, I can see happening. Megas, it's so much harder to say whether or not they'll continue adding more Megas. I mean, I would like to see a few more Megas, only because I still really want Mega Flygon to happen in my life, but it's like...
Right.
That's just the personal reason. I'll be fully honest, but like I can see maybe a couple more new Z moves coming in. Megas, it's harder to say. Like more than likely, they are probably going to focus on whatever this game's gimmick is going to be.
Okay. And then I guess like I don't know if anyone's brought it up or anything. What do you think about like or maybe it's just too early to even like make any kind of prediction. But what would you like to see as far as like your personal rival character or a villain team?
That's actually a good question, because we don't see either in the
right. Yeah, so I mean, it's like I know it's very early, but it's where it's like, you know, I mean, I that's just a general question, like not only just to you, BJ, but even to the audience. It's like, what would you like to see as far as like your personal rival character, and what would you like to see as far as like a villain team?
Well, the rival character, whether or not they're going to be they're more than likely just going to be another childhood friend, you know, a friendly childhood friend, because I know that's kind of the direction that Masuda wants to go with. Because right. I know in an interview he talked about why in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, why the rival in that game was super friendly and wasn't blue, because he described that the reason why the rivals were generally more assholey in the first games was because those were those were small sprites. It was really harder to convey personality. So they went ahead and just went with the strongest personality, which was just being an asshole. But then as the quality of the games got better, it got easier for them to be able to convey more personality, and because of that, they didn't have to strictly stick with turning the rival into an asshole. So they became more friendly. They became more friendly over time because of that. So more than likely, we're going to end up with another friendly rival, whether or not we end up with only one or maybe two.
Well, I would anticipate we're probably going to have like multiple characters that you can call like either like rivals or something. Because I mean, that seems to be the theme that we've been going on. Like, we'll have like one that's maybe really nice, but then we'll have one that's an asshole or something. But it's like, and you just kind of like encounter them like at different points throughout the game. Maybe you end up teaming up with one of them at some point, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I can see that. Like, cause they are generally trying to focus more on giving a proper story. So of course, like generally, what are seen as the rival characters also generally are semi-travel companions at the very least. Cause I know, like in Kalos, like yeah, you had like the opposite gender character, and then you had the what were their names? There was I don't remember their names, but you like the other three kids that you started your journey with and would come across here and there. And then, of course...
shows how memorable they are. We can't even remember that.
I know one of them was Tierno. I forget the other two, though. Shauna was the girl. And I totally forgot what the redhead kid's name was. But then we have Sun and Moon, who brought in great characters like Hal, Lily, Gladian, who really wasn't a travel companion, but he was definitely a rival. But regardless, they were all great characters. So...
Yeah, I guess like if anything, I would want to see the kind of characterization that we did get from Sun and Moon, as far as the rival characters. As far as for a villain team, just please make it better than Team Flare. Team Flare is so fucking unmemorable. I'm sorry. Like I think of Team Flare, the only thing that pops in my head, bright orange suits. I honestly don't remember what the hell their end goal was. I don't remember what their end goal was. I don't remember the names of like the leader or any of any of the other like lower people. That's sort of like Team Flare is so goddamn boring. I can't even remember their freaking battle theme. It was like Team Galactic wasn't all that interesting either, but I remember the Team Galactic battle theme at least. So it's like, just for the love of God, please make it better than Team Flare. Please. Yeah. That's all I ask.
Yeah, Jacob, you are right. Team Flare was a lot better in the anime, but then again, the X and Y anime was fucking great, so of course everything was going to be better in that. But regardless of such, as for a Team Flare, as for a villainous team for the Galar region, I guess we kind of have to dig more into European probably history for such like. I don't think they'll do the Knights thing again, because they kind of already did that for Generation 5 with Unova, because like Team Plasma, they were a group of Knights. That was their whole stick. Yeah. So that's a good question on what they would what would the theme for a villain team be in this game? Like
I honestly have no idea, but it's like I said, like at the very least, please make them better than Team Flare. It's like, I know I'm seeing like, we had Team Skull in the last game, but Team Skull, I think, set the bar so fucking high.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to top Team Skull. And they weren't even really the main team. It was the Ether Paradise that was the big threat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, it's kind of hard to top freaking Guzma. So it's like, don't even fucking try at this point, because you've already hit peak right there. So that's like, at the very least, just better than Flare. That's all I ask.
I'm seeing people in the chat bring up Army, like a soldier-based team.
Like the British Redcoats.
Maybe.
That actually would be pretty interesting.
Just imagine like all these. I don't know. That would be. I think that'd be pretty neat, actually. Like, my question now is that what I'm kind of wondering about, like, how is this team gonna fit in with the theme of the sword and the shield?
It's like we don't know. But then again, I mean, it's like I don't know. We don't even know what sword and shield truly represents. We don't know if it's a metaphorical thing or a literal thing. So it's really kind of hard to gauge,
A resistance to overthrow the throne. Yeah, because I think it is safe to say, like I said, there probably is going to be some kind of sovereignty going on in this region. Of course, wouldn't it be some shit if the team was actually, this would go into the army thing. What if it was the royalty? Wouldn't that be some shit? Like the team leader was the fucking queen.
Oh god, that'd be amazing. It's like, kind of more, kind of like what they did with, with Lucamina and stuff, but like actually have her like be like far more like active in the actual team itself. Not just like, oh, I'm just going to use them for my own games. It's like, no, these guys, they serve me. That's like, bow before me, bitch.
Ooh.
It's like we get some Game of Thrones. No, we get some Game of Thrones shit going on here. That would be amazing. But you know, good luck trying to get Game of Thrones and Pokemon.
Yeah. I guess we'll wait and see. Because, like I said, more than likely, we're probably not going to be getting any more information on the game until E3.
Yeah,
I think
that's probably when we're gonna see more of what this game's gonna look like. Like we'll probably get a lot more info on on the battling, whatever this theme is gonna be. That's probably when we'll see the legendaries for the first time. Maybe what the bad guys are gonna look like. That kind of stuff.
I think it actually is similar to what happened with Sun and Moon too. Because I know when Sun and Moon was first announced, it was only a couple of months before E3 happened, and then we didn't get any more information until E3 happened. That's when we got a shit ton of information, including a bunch of new Pokemon and such. And then after that, we just gradually got more information up to its release.
Yeah.
What I do find,
I guess that kind of makes sense, considering we literally only got like a 7-minute teaser. So it's like, of course, okay, here's the teaser, but the bulk of it, that's probably going to be E3. A bulk of that Nintendo Direct is probably just going to be dedicated to the new Pokemon game. So I think they said this is supposed to come out, late this year?
Yeah, so I'm expecting earliest, late October, latest, probably before Christmas.
Yeah.
That's sad. What was I about to say? About to bring something up, but I lost my train of thought. Totally forgot. Well, anyway.
Scarlet Torchic asks, wait a minute. What if this is where Brooker originally came from?
Do you mean Looker, the International Police? That might be who she's talking about. Okay. Maybe?
Yeah, because it's because that is another thing. Yes, we've always had reoccurring characters, in previous Pokemon games, but they've usually just been minor cameo appearances. I have noticed in a lot of the latest ones, it's they're actually bringing characters back for extensive side quests, and they're actually connecting to each other.
And generally, it is Looker. Looker generally is the most reoccurring character I find, in these games. I know Cynthia's another big one. That's generally reoccurring in these games. Professor Oak, of course. Professor Oak is always pretty reoccurring.
Right. Well, it's like I said, when you look at characters like Professor Oak or even previous champions, they usually it's a minor cameo appearance. Maybe they're gonna come in for brief explanation on the gimmick, or maybe it's oh hey, you may do a team up or a rematch, but that's literally all you got. It's just a very minor cameo. Doesn't really have a whole lot of emphasis on what's actually going on with the narrative, but it does seem that with Looker, even though his stuff is all side quest based, they are linking. It's what happened in what was it? I'm trying to remember, when did Looker come in? Did he come in X and Y?
He was in X and Y, but Looker's very first appearance was actually in Platinum.
Okay.
And
so that's where it's
yeah, and I think he has appeared in pretty much every game ever since.
Okay. Yeah. So that's where it's so it's entirely possible that, a character like him will show up here and, maybe for another side quest or something that'll kind of pick up where the last one left off, or, follows some other minor little trail or something,
Yeah.
It's I can see that happening.
I'm actually trying to remember all Looker's appearances. I know in Platinum his whole deal was trying to stop Galactic, and I know in Black and White his whole deal was gathering up the remaining sages. After you beat the game, he's called in to arrest the sages. X and Y, he had a whole post game side quest regarding what was her name, Ellen, whatever that was, something to do with that. And then Sun and Moon, he's a part of the entire thing with the Ultra Beasts. So
yeah.
So yeah, needless to say, Looker is pretty important. Whether or not this will be his, the region where he originates from, we're not sure. I think Looker definitely comes from an English-speaking country, so it could be this country, but it could also be Unova. We're not quite sure.
Speaking of which, do you anticipate, like, you know, I know we've had some legendaries, like, what was it, like a Zygarde or something, like, show up in, like, different forms in multiple games? Like, do you anticipate maybe something like that happening? Do you expect maybe, like, an Ultra Beast to show up that, like, randomly spawned up here for some reason? Like, do you expect, like, a reoccurring thing like that to happen?
If the fusion thing is true, then we may end up seeing Reshiram and Zekrom in their original form. Like, that can be a thing.
Okay.
Like, there could be that. I don't know if they will bring in more Ultra Beasts. They might. Whether or not they do or not, I guess we'll see.
Okay. Then I see JP Camera asks, yeah, I mentioned this before. Can we talk about the music?
I need to listen to it again, honestly. Like, I know I was bobbing my head to it, but it was like I need to listen to it again to really get a better idea.
Yeah, well, Pokemon's usually pretty good about, you know, coming up with some, you know, catchy tunes.
I bet they're going to pull some Aegislash some Aegislash originated from this region. Like I said at the beginning, if the Honedge line and the Shieldon line don't appear in these games in some form, I'm gonna riot. Because come on, guys, you had one job. You can't name a game after a sword and not have the sword Pokemon. You can't name a game after a shield and not have the shield Pokemon. It's like you guys already fucked up with Groody and calling him a chimp. I mean, come on, guys. Oh well, I guess. Do we have anything else? That we're on our minds regarding the games thus far, based on what was given to us?
Based on what's been given to us, I honestly can't really think of much. Well, I can't really talk here because I don't give a shit about it. But BJ, I know you do. So, what do you anticipate anime adaptation? What do you think? Like, do you think that's too early to start making any kind of predictions as far as what the anime adaptation could possibly look like? Do you think maybe they're gonna, you know, come up with a whole new art style to fit it, kind of like what they did with the Sun and Moon anime, or are they gonna stick with that style, or what?
All I know is if all the characters except for Ash don't have a British accent, I'm gonna call foul for one thing. But I don't know. Like I could see them sticking with the Sun and Moon anime art style because I know that's doing very well. As for how they'll handle it, because it does. I guess one thing we should bring up, it does look like they're going back to a more traditional style, bringing back the gyms. So yeah, it looks like the thing with like the trials and the grand trials and such from Sun and Moon. That was strictly a Sun and Moon thing. It does look like they're going back to gyms, which probably means that. I know the big thing with Sun and Moon was that like they did travel around the islands, but not really consistently. Like for the most part, it was like Ash lived with the professor and he lived on the same island, attending school there pretty much for the entire series. And they would go to the other islands, like, you know, like school field trips or whenever something bad was going on and they needed to go there or anything other such like that. But I can very much see them going back to, I guess, the original formula where more than likely Ash will probably have a new companion, like a couple of companions, and then like travel up the entirety of Galar, making their way to the top. I guess we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, because it's like, again, I can't really speak because I don't really watch the Pokemon animes. I have tried, and I just find them fucking boring. Like, even like the Sun and Moon one, like I know you and I watched maybe like the first 5 episodes, and I'm just like, I just cannot get into it. And if they are going back to the gym format, I know for a fact I'm not going to get into it because that's, you know, that's one of the things about the Pokemon anime that really kind of bugged me. It just feels like, okay, it's filler arc the anime until Ash gets to a gym. And that's when it's like, oh, important shit actually fucking happens. Then it's filler until you get to the next gym.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So
Jacob.
it's like,
Like Jacob just said, like that is actually one thing that I'm kind of dreading when they do start a new anime. Like we're gonna like Mallow, Lily, Lana, Sophocles, Kiawe. Like they're all obviously gonna be staying on Alola when Ash leaves, and it's like that's gonna suck because all three. Like I know again, you didn't really get into the anime, Danny, but all of those characters had such great development. You can feel the relationship they had with Ash, and like they were all great characters, and I'm gonna fucking miss them when they go, or I guess when Ash leaves. Like that's gonna be the most painful part, honestly. Really. But
okay,
yeah.
Kaito, hang on, let me answer this real quick. Kaito says, by the way, Danny, get this. Kingdom Hearts fans said that if a Dragon Quest fighter comes to Smash instead of Sword, they will dislike bomb the trailer and make sure Dragon Quest never sells in the US. Thoughts? What do you expect me to say other than fuck them? That has always been my answer for when you have these like Kingdom Hearts fans that do shit like this. It's like I don't care.
Also, how many people are that? Like 10 people? Like
yeah, so that's where it's like, yeah, fuck them. It's like that's it. End of discussion.
Anyway, back to Pokemon.
Yeah. Actually, it's like I'm trying to think. So I didn't get around to playing like what Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Did they do anything with Lily like post game in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon?
Yes, they changed things up like because of what happened, because they changed things with Lucimi. Because remember in Sun and Moon, at the end of the game, like Lily left because she wanted to go to the Cancer region with her mother to find a cure because Lucimi was poisoned by Nihilego when they merged. So she wanted
and that's where people were anticipating like a possible like reappearance like in a future game or something, where Lily's gonna end up coming back and she's gonna be like a hardened trainer.
Well, the thing is, in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, that fusion between Lucimi and Nihilego didn't happen. That ending of the game completely changed, and as such, Gladion left. Like because Gladion ended up leaving at the end of the game. Like he left to go hone his skills, but Lily stayed, and she did become a Pokemon trainer. Like she got herself her own Clefairy, she got a Confey, she got a Ribbonbee. And really, all it is that she helps you with the Rainbow Rocket stuff. But then after that, she becomes someone you can fight alongside within like the battle tree shit and stuff. So that's really it.
Oh, okay.
So she does become a trainer.
Okay.
Now, whether or not
whether or not we can expect her to come back in the next game, even for a cameo.
Probably not. I can see Gladion maybe showing up, but that's it. Honestly, more than likely, if there are going to be any characters that show up in this game, it's probably going to be characters from Kalos, since this game is based off UK and Kalos is France. Those are pretty close together, or at least they should be.
Yeah. It is assuming we know they're based off of geographical regions, but I don't know if that necessarily means they are exactly like the geographical locations.
Yeah. Well, I mean. Well, actually, you say that. The first 4 regions, Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, and Sinnoh, those are all based off Japanese areas, and those are canonically close together. Like, it's still probably a couple of days drives away, but like, they're close by. Like, if you took a plane, you'd be there in a few hours. No different from different states and such. But Unova was really the first one that really was straight up like, okay, you need to take a plane to get there, and it will take a few days, implying that this place is far away. And then Kalos, which is France, Unova, which is Hawaii, and then so I think for the most part, generally they are implying that the regions, depending on what part of the world they're based off of, is equivalent to the real world. So I think we can assume that more than likely Kalos and Galar are going to be somewhat close.
Okay.
Because something else I actually noticed on the map for Galar, it's like, it does look like it kind of, like, it's ocean all around. It's not an island, though. From what I can see, anyway. There's kind of clouds obscuring the south end of it, but, like, there's ocean surrounding it completely on the west, north, and east of the region. But on the south side, it looks like the land keeps continuing. So maybe Kalos is south of it?
Maybe.
So either that or like you can travel south and like take a few more directions and eventually you'd reach Kalos. I'm not quite sure, but
Okay.
it's definitely not. It's yeah. Thank you, Jacob. It's a peninsula, so.
Okay. What's it called? Kaito asks, what do you think the final evos for the starters will be? Like I guess final types. Like I see N64 boys, he's saying grass rock, fire steel, and water ghost.
Oh Christ! If Grookie ends up being half rock, like I'm just defaulting to him. But again, like there's no real way to know. Like we don't have enough information on these starters to really, because all we know about them is that Grookie seems to have this stick in his hair that he can use to make grass grow. Like Score Bunny likes to run fast, and the footsteps, it leaves fiery footsteps, and Sobble can turn invisible on water. That's really all we know about them so far. We don't know anything else.
Right. But I guess I'm trying to think what kind what kind of typing would you like to see?
I mean, I'd like for them to be all rock, but no.
Like grass rock, fire rock, water rock.
Hell yeah. Honestly, I really can't think of a proper typing for them, but I will say if the fusion thing is real, and if my theory on the idea of if the fusion thing is real and the starters confuse, it'd probably make more sense if they all just remained a single type, so just grass, fire, water, and then they gain that second type whenever they fuse.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
So they can become grass, fire, water, all that such.
Okay. Alrighty. And then, just on the off chance if that's not indeed the case, it's like, I will say, though, it's like, now that N64 boys brought that up and now Dark Meta Knight, at least for Sobble, I do like the idea of a water ghost type. Like, I don't play around with the ghost types all that often, mostly because there's really not a lot of ghost types, so I would like to see ghost types get a little bit more love. And considering that this is a Pokemon that just camouflages and shit, it's like, why the hell not? Okay.
And also, actually, N64 boys brings up actually something else interesting too. I didn't even think about this, so good on you there, dude. But yeah, so in X and Y there was this train station that wasn't used for fucking anything. But one thing I noticed for the Galar region, it seems like a lot of the towns are connected by railroads. So who knows? Maybe post-game, there could be a thing where, like, you can hop on a train and end up in the Kalos region. Get some cool Johto. Crazy. Yeah, get some cool Johto shit. Again, we're not on handhelds anymore, guys. We're on the Switch, a more powerful system. They could very easily probably throw an additional region on there if they wanted to.
Yeah, really? It's like, yes, we finally have like a true mainline Pokemon game on a console now.
Well, I mean, technically Let's Go Pikachu and Meteor that, but Masuda says so, but not many people really agree, so whatever.
Well, not so much like a retread, so much as like, no, this is brand new.
Yeah,
like,
true. Good point.
Not a retread.
Yeah, not a remake of Gen 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess we shall see. There's not again, like, this is all just speculation. We probably won't know much more until June or July. I think Score Bunny is going to be fire. I'm seeing a lot of people thinking that Score Bunny is going to be half electric. No.
I'm trying to think like you know the types off the top of your head, like the advantages and disadvantages, like better than I do. So it's like, what would fire and electric be strong and weak?
It would hate ground, that's for certain. Like, it would literally just die at a single ground attack, because fire and electric are both weak to ground. It would technically hate water, even though it also is also strong against water. It would hate rock, and I think that's really it. Yeah, so rock, water, and then it would hate ground. But then it would be strong against a lot of stuff. Like, yeah, it would be strong against water, so that kind of balances itself out. It's strong against grass, strong against ice, strong against flying. it'd have a decent amount of coverage. That's for certain.
Okay. And what about what about the prediction? Like, what about a water ghost type?
That does exist. In the form of a Frillish and Jellicent. That'd be weak to grass. It'd be weak to electric, dark, ghost. I think that's it. Just those 4 types.
Okay.
Unless I'm figuring I got weakness for ghost, but I don't think I am.
And then I guess for Grookey, that's like I don't know, what would you think? Like water ground, water rock, water fight, not water, grass, you know what I mean?
Since it's a monkey, what about since it's a monkey, what about grass flying? I mean, monkeys are because monkeys are acrobatic little fuckers. I mean, it may not technically fly, but it would have flying attributes where it's always in the air.
I think I can only see that if when it remains like a tiny monkey, because I don't see like a giant gorilla flying around.
That's assuming it remains a gorilla. Again, look
it's like that's the thing. It's like we have no idea. For all we know, this thing might end up just being it might just be like a tall, lanky monkey with a tail. But for all we know, it could end up being a big buff gorilla. We have no idea where they're going with it. There's all different kinds of monkeys.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's kind of weird because all 3 of these Pokemon are all Pokemon that could very easily end up being fast. Because it's generally, I think, really with the exception of Gen 1, kind of, all the starters were kind of balanced separately. There was always, a fast one. There was always one that specialized in defense. There was always one that, was more balanced between the 2 of them. And then, and they were also separated between being physical or being special.
Right.
In terms of that, I could very easily see Grookey and Scorbunny being physical and Soppel being special, obviously. But in terms of whether or not they're fast or defensive, I don't know. I can see Soppel ending up being maybe slow, but can take a lot of hits. But based on what I'm seeing right now, all 3 of them can very easily end up being fast. Because they're all based off of really quick little creatures. Monkeys are fast, rabbits are fast, and lizards are fast. So it's that's a tough one. That's kind of a tough call.
Right.
I don't know. All right, well, I guess, do we have any more questions from from our lovely viewers before I guess we should call it? What if Grookey becomes an orangutan? I mean, I'd be salty because once again, that's a fucking monkey turning into an ape. Then again, I'm fairly certain every simian-based, except for the pan simi monkeys from Unova, all monkey-based Pokemon or ape-based simian-based Pokemon evolved between the 2 species. Mankey's a monkey, but then evolves into Primeape, an ape. Chimchar starts out as a chimp, but then it evolves into a monkey. And then
it's well, look at freaking Snivy. It started out as an adorable little leaf lizard, and then when it's fully evolved, it lost its arms and legs and became a snake.
Apom, yeah, that's Apom. Apom is a monkey, and that remains a monkey. But no, hold on, Apom is also called ape. God damn it, it's not an ape, it's a monkey.
God. It's you are gonna lose your goddamn mind over this monkey
There's
thing.
There's a difference. Passimian's a lemur. But that still makes sense. Simian, because Simian is kind of the general term for all those knuckle draggers, including us. And then there's Oranguru, which is an orangutan. So yeah, those were right. They got those right.
Let's see. Zir Yuri says, before you go, I think I know how Scorbunny is going to look like. Look up Summer Wars Bunny.
Summer Wars Bunny? I'll look that up later.
I'm gonna look that up right now, real quick. Do a Google search.
Yeah, and also Apom in the Detective Pikachu movie. Like, I know why Apom looked like that, because more than likely, because I played the game, so it's like lemurs are primates. They're not apes. They have tails, but
Oh, okay. That actually would be a pretty badass design. No, it's like I'm looking at it up right now. It's like that it actually does look pretty boss.
okay.
Like, yeah, something similar to that. Speaking of which, it's like now that you bring up Detective Pikachu, do you expect maybe we can see like maybe like these three starters making like a cameo in Detective Pikachu just for like, cross promotion purposes?
Probably not. Because I mean, considering how freaking elegant and extravagant these CGI models are, like, unless they planned that so far in advance. Because here's the thing, they are separate because it's WB making Detective Pikachu, whereas obviously,
right,
which is obviously an American company. So I doubt very highly that they really had any connecting like interests going between them.
Okay, I mean, it's like I figured, it's like, don't expect to see a Score Bunny showing up in like having like a definitive role or something, but it's like, I'm just like, even just something as simple where it's like, oh, it's like I like the blink of an eye or something where like maybe they're walking down the street or something and it's like, oh, hey, we got a Score Bunny over there, or oh, there's a Sobble just playing around in a puddle or some shit, like for a very brief second. Or do you think like they're just like too far into it that it's just like, yeah,
this movie is more than likely done. It's done.
Yeah, like, maybe for the sequel.
Yeah. Also, Infernape's another one that's not. It's not an ape. Infernape's a monkey. Anyway, probably not. We don't see Alolan. No, there are actually Alolan Pokemon in the Detective Pikachu movie. We have seen a few. Like we see Morlor, whatever that's called, the mushroom thing. I think Confei is also in that movie somewhere. Yeah.
I mean, I know they're more so focusing on like the older Pokemon, just because those are going to be the most memorable. But I mean, we've still seen some of the more later ones. I mean, it's like, it's like, I mean, it's like, we've seen Bulbasaurs and Charmanders, and now we see Mewtwo showing up in this thing. But we also know that we have Greninjas in this movie.
Mewtwo makes sense because Mewtwo actually was important to the story of Detective Pikachu, or at least in the game. So that makes sense. But,
okay.
But yeah, like generally, like it did focus on. I think that's how Detective Pikachu actually was, though. I'm trying to remember because Detective Pikachu takes place. Yeah, like what was it? The Rhyme City. I forget what region that's in, or if that even is in an existing region. Not quite sure.
And it might have been something in its own. It's its own thing.
I need to double check that, but regardless of such, going back to the point, there are in fact Alolan Pokemon in Detective Pikachu. So,
Dark Meta Knight says Mankey.
Mankey is in fact a monkey, cranky. It's a cranky monkey. That's the point. And then it evolves into an ape, prime ape, because Mankey has a tail, prime ape doesn't. They got that right.
Jacob Camera, like, is Detective Pikachu a kids movie because Pikachu swears? It's like, I think the rule is like, I think it's like after like a certain amount of curse words, that's when it starts going up in ratings.
The movie is currently rated PG-13, which technically which technically means the word fuck can be said once in the movie.
Yeah, but Pikachu is allowed one fuck technically to keep the PG-13 rating. And I know deep down that's what we want. You may not say it, but deep down you just know, like in the pit of your stomach.
Let him say fuck.
It would be delicious. It's like, I mean, I think it's just because, we just got so used to hearing Ryan Reynolds swearing and being hilarious in Deadpool that it's like, okay, put this in a cuddly Pikachu, please.
Oh my gosh, someone's already made a plush of Sopple.
Damn, that was quick.
I'm retweeting this shit real quick. Hold on.
Oh, Jesus. It's like, that was fast.
Hold on. I'll show you guys in the chat. Give me a second to... Like, jeez. Like, dang it, guys! Like some people work fast. Da 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 da.
Oh my god, it's adorable.
We should have guys in the chat. Hold on.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god. It's like
too big. Hold on. Let me shrink it. There we go. Look at that shit. Someone already made a plush.
It's like, god damn, man. I mean, and that's like, and that is just to think, like, you know, you've got the right material, you got the right machines, you got the right stuffing. It's like again, it's like this is where it's like I mostly dabble in like knitting. I'm actually in the middle of like knitting a fucking blanket right now. It's like 2 months in and I'm actually like maybe 2/3 done with it. But it's like that's mostly what I work with, and I know that shit, you know, could take a long time. So I have no idea what it must be like to actually make like plushies on like sewing machines and shit, especially because you are dealing with a completely different type of material.
Right.
But I would imagine that had to have taken all day.
Like,
if
yeah,
anything.
you know, this person like started as soon as I saw that Pokemon.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
they didn't even give it a second thought.
No, because I mean, it's like, I mean, yeah, it's just like any other plushie. Like, look at the eye, look at the work around the eyes, the mouth, the cheeks. I mean, that is stitch work.
Jesus. Yeah. Alrighty, well, I think with all that said, I think we've pretty much gotten our dues out for what we think of the game. So yeah, definitely expect, well, more than likely next time we talk about this game, if when I'm predicting it comes true, we won't be hearing from Sword and Shield again until E3. Hold on, Zero, wait, what? Hold on, what do you, new Eevee? Haven't gotten a new Eevee for a while, I guess we'll say.
Well, what was it? Sylveon was the last one, right?
That was just to introduce the fairy type. That's all that existed for. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, yeah. But I think like what Zuri's asking is like, you know, do you expect maybe to get a new EV type for a type that that hasn't been represented yet?
I don't think we're getting any new types. But you know what? Maybe we can get a new Eevee. Because obviously Eevee's popular. Obviously Eevee's popularity has shot back up thanks to Let's Go Eevee. But also, something I noticed when it comes to Eeveelutions, generally new ones come in on even number generations. Gen 2, we got, you know, Espeon and Umbreon. Didn't get anything for Gen 3. Gen 4, Leafeon and Glaceon. Gen 5 got Jack. Gen 6, Sylveon. Gen 7, nothing. So who knows? We are at another even number generation. It could happen.
Okay, so then I guess like even if they didn't, you know, let's just suspend reality and let's just say, okay, we're gonna get, let's just say, 2 new EV evolutions. What are the 2 that you would want to see?
Rock and Rock. Rock. Okay, really do Rock and probably Dragon.
That's like you know, Ghost EV would probably be pretty cool. Maybe Steel?
Maybe.
Yeah, get like a freaking like robot looking EV.
Oh well. All right. Oh, so with all that said, next time we talk about Pokemon Shield, Shield and Sword, probably will be whenever we do our E3 discussions, more than likely. So. So with that said, this has been BrawlFan1 BJ and Rushitsu Rises Danny, and thank you all so much for joining us, and we will see you all next time.
See ya. Sobble Squad for life.